Senator Sanders, thank you. I think this has been an incredibly important discussion. It's obviously one that people feel emotionally on all sides from, and I've heard from patients and families in my home state of Washington, actually across the country, who are finding it increasingly difficult and challenging to afford the drugs they need, and that has got to change. I am committed to working with my colleagues in Congress on both sides of the aisle to bring down prices and to make sure that prescription medication, life-saving treatments, are not just available, but they're accessible and affordable. Senator Sanders, you've been a longtime leader on this, and I was really glad to work together with you, with Senator Burr, to craft the bipartisan policy that is in this bill that will substantially expand importation of prescription drugs. So I want to be clear, the bill will help people across the country, from Washington State to Vermont, in between, to get safe drugs at cheaper prices by allowing importation from Canada, and that is really a big deal. This policy is a significant change that will meaningfully lower costs for our families and for patients, because let me talk you through what it does. First of all, this importation plan builds on the work that FDA has begun to expand commercial importation of less costly prescription drugs from Canada by states, by Indian tribes, and by other groups. But it's key that imported drugs do not pose any additional risk to public health, and this policy accomplishes that. Secondly, it does remove barriers that have prevented personal importation in the past. FDA will be required to establish a program for personal importation of prescription drugs, Senator Kane, while ensuring that the drugs are the same safe and effective drugs that are available here domestically. And third, it gives FDA the tools it needs to quickly address any importation program that poses a risk to public health and safety. Senator Sanders, many of us want to do more, but this bipartisan policy in this legislation is a huge step forward, and it has the Republican support we need to pass legislation. To my knowledge, actually, this is the first time ever that a user fee reauthorization bill has included policy expanding importation of prescription drugs. Senator Sanders, this progress is possible because of your leadership on these issues, and I'm glad that we could work together to make this happen. I believe it will set us up well to make further progress in the future. We can make this work, which is why I agreed as part of the bipartisan compromise not to relitigate this issue live at the markup through any amendments. So much as I may agree with some of this policy, I will be making a motion to table the Sanders importation amendment at the appropriate time today to preserve support for this bipartisan policy in the underlying bill, which I think is extremely important that we move through and get signed by the President and make critical progress on that issue that families are